Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Luna and you're watching my channel Tierra y Luna. Today I'm going to be walking you through a tutorial on how to paint this painting that you see on screen right here. If you saw my recent speed paint video, you will have seen the full process, but obviously with no commentary as I didn't really explain what I was doing or really speak at all during that video. So that's what the purpose of this video is. It's a full-on tutorial. And my next video is going to be a full-on tutorial on how to do the other painting that I did in my last speed paint video, which is the Christmas ornaments painting. I went ahead and did my sketch and my very first light wash of green off camera. And I'm just going to go ahead and start by making a few watercolor drips with some yellow, and then I'll add some green. And I'm just going to drip all over the paper to give it that splattery effect. Once I have some droplets down, I'm just going to make some bigger. I'll leave some as they are. I'll add another color to some of them. I'll just play around with this effect here just a little bit. Once I'm happy with where the droplets are and the effect that they're creating, I will go ahead and let my painting dry, and we'll go ahead and start adding color to the leaves. I'm going to start in this lower right hand cluster here and just add a very true foresty green to some of these leaves here. Once I have a few of these leaves done in that true green, I'm gonna take a more blue toned green now. So we're gonna get a cooler tone green and start putting that on some other leaves, and then darkening some areas on the leaves we already painted with this darker, deeper blue. Adding this more cool toned, deeper bluey or green will help us add a shadow effect to the flat color that we added. And here's just a little note on some color theory. When you're adding a more cool toned color, that's gonna put depth in your painting, because whatever you're adding that cool toned color to is gonna make that object look like it's further back, like it's farther away from you. So the opposite is also true. So if you want to bring something closer to you or make something appear in your painting as if it's closer to the viewer, you would take a warmer toned color than what you're using. So in this case, since I'm using greens to warm up the tone, I need to add yellow to the green to make it a warmer toned green, as you're seeing me do right here. I also want to point out that the way I'm making my brush strokes is I'm putting a little bit more pressure at the beginning and then lifting the pressure off as I bring the paint towards the edges or the outline that I want it to make. So now I'm just going to move over to the branch on the left and repeat the process. And as you can see, another little technique I'm using with my brush strokes to get a really nice edge is very lightly with the tip of my brush. I'm making quick movements back and forth right up until I get to the edge of the pencil mark. And then I just do a quick little flick with my brush at the end of the stroke. And now that things have dried a little bit on the lower right-hand cluster, I'm going to go over and do a few changes to the leaf and just glaze over and make everything blend a little bit more together. All right, now let's get started with this upper left-hand cluster. So since this leaf is a little bit bigger, I blend a few of the brush techniques that I've been talking about so far. I start with a little bit more pressure at the beginning of the stroke, closer to the tip of the leaf, and then I drag the paint over to the side, making quick movements back and forth with my brush as I'm also dragging downward to the other edge of the leaf. And then I use another combination of brush strokes on the other leaf next to it as well. And then I'll just go ahead and fill in the rest of the leaves on this cluster here and go back and just edit as I go along on the other clusters as well. And I'll find spots to go in and add some very faint and light leaves in the background that aren't necessarily outlined with my pencil. So just freehand in some leaves in the center of those clusters. And now I'm going to go in with some more droplets, but this time in a more blue toned green. And now I'll start on this upper right hand branch here, and because I want to push it more towards the back, I want to add in with my bluer toned green here. To get a really fine line for this branch here, I'm going in with really light and fast movements. So light pressure and quick movements, that's what's going to get you the thinnest line possible. The quicker you can go, the thinner it will be. And same with the pressure. The lighter the pressure, the thinner your line. I haven't yet mentioned much about water control or how to control the transparency of your pigments, but I'll mention that here now. So to get these really, really transparent washes of paint, you want to make sure that you're mixing in a lot of water with your pigment. So the more water you have, the more transparent your layer will be. And then as you can see, the opposite is also true here with the red. So because I wanted a more concentrated, in your face, very opaque layer of that red, I used a lot more paint and a lot less water. So when I went in to grab my paint, I made sure my brush was a little bit more dry so that there was a lot more pigment on my brush. And then another comment on water control. So as you can see here, the red that I just laid down really spread into that leaf. And that's because what I didn't notice before I put that red down is that the leaf was still very wet. So because I put more water down with different pigment next to some water that was already there, the pigment that I just put down spread into that other puddle that was already there. So I don't love the way that looks, but that's okay. I will go in and show you how we can fix that, because watercolor lifts very easily, so you can fix mistakes even in a very bright color like this red. So to fix that large red spot in the lower right hand cluster, I just have to let that entire area dry completely, and then we'll go ahead and lift some of that color off, and I'll show you that in a bit. But for now, I'm also going to go up and dab and do another dabbing technique with the paper towel to get really fine red dots in that upper right hand branch. And to really tie in the splatter effect in the rest of the painting, I will also go in and splatter some red all around. And also go add some more red dots to the upper right-hand branch. And I decided instead of trying to lift and make that red dot smaller, I'm just going to add more pigment to round out the shape and make it look more of an intentional circular spherical. And that's the full painting. I hope you liked this video and I hope you learned something from this tutorial. And if you go ahead and give it a try, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn your notifications on. And thank you for watching.